Lady Hussey was at that drinks party. We're all very familiar with this now. And Ghazi Falani came along and said, where are you from? So the palace, in their wisdom, decided to get the two ladies together and have a public
I thought it was a beautiful moment. It was wonderful. It gave me such hope. Look at it. Look at it. They sat there together. They're talking about it. It's not just she sat there apologising to Ngozi. They're talking about how we can improve race relations in Britain.
Lady Hussey was literally thrown under the bus.
She was not thrown.
Well,
she is an older lady. She is an older lady.
Hang on, one at a time.
No. She's an old lady who's worked 60 years for the palace. Okay?
No excuse.
Ngozi came with almost African dress. What's her real name? She's changed her name.
Marlene Headley.
Thank you. So there's a lot of things that you know, if I was dealing with if you're dealing with an 80-year-old woman who's clearly polite, she made this into something toxic. It was toxic. Needed to be
Here's
that.
The thing. Why couldn't she?
Toxic.
So this conversation that they've subsequently had,
yes.
Why couldn't they have had that at the time? Why couldn't Ghazi Falani have said very calmly to Lady Hussey? Why couldn't she have said, you know what, when you ask me where I'm at, this is really uncomfortable. Can I explain to you why you might have got this wrong?
Yeah.
Have that conversation privately,
as a person of
without
colour,
going onto Twitter and then making this massive kick-off, which it became.
Because I think as a woman of colour, you get a bit frightened, you get a bit shocked. Oh my God, has that person just actually said that to me? And you don't know how to react in that moment. And yes, she may not have had to go into Twitter, but sorry, I think she brought a lot of attention to it, which needed to be brought.
She brought toxic attention to something. Is toxic attention to something which did not need to be.
It's racism. It wasn't racism. It was racist.
I get called. I'm not a woman of colour, but I'm Greek. So
that's why you don't take offence. But if you are a woman of colour, you take offence.
But you just don't.
And I think this
if you want to take offence because you're looking for toxicity,
do you not think
it was one at a time, ladies?
It's nice that they could sit down, that we can sit down and have a conversation. It was nice that they sat down and had that conversation.
I think there was something deeply uncomfortable about.
Did you?
Well, I tell you why I think it was uncomfortable. The knee-jerk reaction from William and the palace before they knew the story to say, you're gone, there is no place for racism in the royal family. That was awful to do that to an 83-year-old woman. I think that is almost unforgivable. But to then sit back and say, well, how does this reflect on the palace? Oh, we better wheel her in again. Let's get Lady Hussey back in. Let's sit her up for a press. I just feel like they've used her, and I feel like it wasn't respectful to either of them.
She made the mistake, Beverly. She's the one who was rude. OK, let's take out the racism. She was a rude lady. I don't care if she's old.
Why was she rude?
Was rude.
She was old.
Where are you from? Where are you really from? No, but where are you really from? She was rude. She's got away with it for too long.
No.
You have to be forgiving of some. You have to also take into account her age and therefore the fact that she may not have been entirely tactful and there may have been a clumsy...
Listen, I know for a fact, so my parents are older. Bear in mind that a lot of language has changed, a lot of things have changed, and they're not...
Then she shouldn't be in that position. Then she shouldn't be in that position.
No, because she's 83 years old.
Then she shouldn't be in such a high position.
But we can't put people at rates behind closed doors and never let them go out.
Then she needed to be trained, and that's why they sat down, and I'm glad they had the conversation. She was wrong.
Well, the palace have said hopefully they can both now quietly go on about their lives and be out of the eye of the storm.